We're doing something that's very unique. We are building a home as our own general contractor. There is not a builder that sits between us and this construction. There are many contractors that are doing many different things, but basically we are the general contractors. Hi there, I'm Kevin.
I'm Sherry.
Welcome to Logs,
Bogs, and Meadows.
Greetings from the forest. Here I am today. Today is day 9, I believe. Yes, it's day 9 of the build, and I'm here to show you the progress, which is mostly footers, but there's some other things that I'd like to show you. So what we're seeing right now is the overall site. I'm going to try to get a good vantage point here. I'm going to walk up onto the sand mound septic system, and as I do, we'll pan across and see if we can't get a good view of where the home will be. Right there's a pile of stumps, and they all came out of really down here. All those stumps came out of where the hole is, where the house is going to be, where they excavated. And there's more to come out because we still have a few that are going to be in the yard. They're going to be in the driveway, or they're going to be close to the house, and we're going to want to pull those out. So as I pan over here to the right, you'll see that where I'm parked here is kind of a driveway, but it's not the driveway that's going to come into the house. It's basically a front area of our home, but there's a driveway or a lane that goes down to the left here. And you can see as I point down through there that there's a stone driveway which will come down and come into the side of the house. It's noteworthy that over the course of the last 2 years, we have taken off many trees here. I don't know the exact number. It's at least 60. It might be pushing 70. Some of the trees were as small as this little oak right here. Others were as big as the stump that's sitting up here. That's on the larger side. Most of them were white oak. There were some that were hickory tree, and predominantly when you look in our forest, it's a hardwood forest, and we have an abundance of hickory, abundance of oak, but we have many species on the property here, several different species of oak. Hickory, we have a good bit of cherry, we have some maple, just an awful lot of different types of wood. The one thing that we're short on, though, is evergreen trees. We have only really one healthy evergreen tree on the entire forest property. As we walk toward the excavated site, what we're seeing right here is the clean-out area. A couple days ago, there was a concrete pump here that was used to pump the concrete into the footers. As we approach the top of the excavated site and we look down in here, we can see the footers. A footer is simply it's the foundation. It's the lowest foundation point of the home. It's where the concrete wall foundation will sit on top of those. And that's where everything starts. The stone was placed after the footers were poured, and that's to create a base for the concrete slab that'll be our basement. When we look up here at the top, there's this footer here that's poured right into the ground. That is going to be the foundation for the front porch. As we move over to the right, we're going to find that we have another footer there that's in the ground that is elevated higher than the basement. And the reason for that is our garage, and our garage will sit about 1 to 2 feet below the living level of the floor, the finished level, but it will be sitting it'll be sitting above the basement. So it's going to come in at ground level. And as I look out here, you can see where the driveway will come into the side on the side of the garage. So right now I'm looking up the lane, and this will come down in the entrance to our property. As we come down here, we look, the driveway will swing in, and that will be the end of the garage. On their property, the driveway continues on and over to the other side of our property where we have a pavilion, and we'll show you some unique features of our forest property in some future footage. So I'm going to walk up through the driveway right now. Obviously not a finished driveway. Toward the end of the garage. And we're back to garage. Now, if I swing around to the back, I'm going to get a long view of the basement. The total square footage of our house is, I want to say 2,184. I might be off by a few feet. The basement will not be finished. The basement is simply just the foundation. It's a place for storage. It's a place for safety if there are tornadoes, which we don't get frequently, but you never know. But there is a little piece out the back here, this area right here, that is basically going to sit underneath our mudroom. So yes, there's basement there, not a lot, a little bit. It just makes for a very weird little piece underneath it. So this view is standing from the back, looking at the back, and these series of footers right here are for the frost walls, which will sit on that, and those frost walls will be an outdoor patio that will come out from the house 12 feet. It'll be 24 feet wide. It's going to have a roof over it, and that's going to be our outdoor living area. So we do have a ramp here that the excavator built for access to the basement. And as we walk down through here, I'm going to show you a little bit of what it is here. These, believe it or not, that concrete circle is a footer. And there is another one over here. The reason for these pieces of concrete here is because there will be steel posts sitting on top of those concrete footers, and they will carry a steel beam from across the width of the house to hold the first floor decking system up. So they're required to create the base and a foundation to support the house. I'm standing in the middle of the basement here, and I thought it might be good to give you some perspective about the drainage system. The drainage system is important in a house with a basement because you need the water to flow away from the basement foundation so that it does not come in and flood your basement. And so what we did, we chose an integrated system with our footers, which is the lowest point of the house. And we chose something called formadrain. And if you look down here, which I don't think you can see, I will show it to you with the handheld in a minute. We use a product called formadrain. Maybe I'll be able to come over here and you can see it. Yeah. These outside forms here, typically with a concrete form, you have something that will be stripped away and will be gone after the concrete is set. In this case, these concrete forms are going to stay because they're not just concrete forms, they're also our drainage system. And what will happen is there are really two functions to this system. Number one, the function on the exterior of the footers is to remove water, wick it away from the basement foundation and carry it to another location outside where there'll be a ditch going down to daylight. And there are holes, perforated holes that are in the side of this plastic formadrain system that allow the water to weep in as it goes to the lowest point, again, right next to the footer. and there will be stone on top of this, so the water will naturally drain down in. It'll enter into that formadrain system. It'll go around the foundation, and there will be at least one point, maybe two, where there will be an outlet drain and a trench that will be dug. And our site slopes to the back. And when that slopes to the back, there will be some corrugated plastic pipe put in that trench. And any water that's collected inside this formadrain system, the gravity will take it to a low point. It'll go out of that pipe in that trench. It'll go down, and it'll drain far away from our house so we can stay high and dry. Okay, so just trying to get a better view of this drainage system here. You can see I'm going to peel away some of these rocks here. And if you can see down in there, it's basically this plastic right here that is the formadrain system. There are slits in here. These slits, okay, this is basically how the water gets in them. And so they get trapped in there. They follow the channels that are in the end here, and then they come out and they drain. So we're standing here in the basement right now, and the one thing that you're seeing here, which you might not normally see, probably very unlikely, is electric service mounted on what's called a service pedestal. And I'll talk about that a little bit later, but we chose to bring our electric service into this site location 2 years ago. And we did that for a couple of reasons, but number one, we wanted electric service while we were using the property from a recreational standpoint to camp. And that's the reason that's there. It's also very nice for the contractors, because typically when they're building a home, until they get the electric put into the home, all the power tools have to be ran either off of generators, or the batteries had to be charged off of generators. So there's no need to bring a generator to this site. We have the electric here. Not only that, but you might be able to see over there, we have a frost-free hydrant right there. And we also have a well that we've put on site. So now I'm standing on the non-driveway side of the home site. And what you can see here are a couple of what looks like manholes for like water or sewer, and that's exactly what they are. They're manholes for a sewer system, a septic system. 2 years ago, when we put the electric in and we put the well in, we also put our septic system in. And right here are where the tanks are. The wastewater comes out of the house. It comes over. It's in these tanks here. It's processed to a certain point, and believe me, I don't understand all of the biology that happens in there, but it starts to do its thing in there, and then as it fills up, it is pumped out. At least the liquids are pumped out, and they are pumped up to that mound, which is right in front of the blue portable toilet, and that's called a sand mound. Where we are, that's a very typical system, is a sand mound septic system. So this area in here, I like to call it the beaver dam. I think it's self-explanatory as why I call it the beaver dam. By the way, beavers didn't make it. I did. And I made this not because I wanted to make a beaver dam, but because when you take 60 or 70 trees down, you end up with a lot of limbs, a lot of wood that's rotten that you're not going to use for firewood. So what I did was I put it over here, I dumped it. Over time, it depresses. I've already moved it a few times over the last few years, and it compresses. It basically goes back into being, forest. It just kind of melts away over time and becomes dirt in the forest. A pile of 2B stone, the number 2, and B as in boy. That's stone that is crushed limestone that does not have any in the fine dust, and it's used for underneath concrete slabs. But you're also seeing a big pile of dirt. And that's basically came from the hole that was dug for the basement. Now, it's a pretty big pile, and I'm going to attempt to walk up here without falling down and hurting myself so that I can give you a perspective of how high it is. I'm standing nearly at the top, and what you're seeing down below, this green stuff is I believe it's called a sock. It's used for erosion controls, and it's very important that when you disturb the earth that you put erosion controls in so that as it rains, the water doesn't put a whole bunch of silt in places it shouldn't be, namely that beautiful little stream down there, which is a key feature of our property. So what we don't want to do is pollute the stream with harmful silt that is not intended to be in that stream. So that's the reason for the erosion control, and that will stay there for the duration of the project until we get the project stabilized, soil planted so that we don't have any more erosion. So as I turn around here, it gives a pretty good bird's eye view of the project site, starting from the left, the driveway, panning across to the home site, the basement, the foundations, over to the right. So one of the things that Sherry and I do is we watch a lot of YouTube videos. And the reason we do this is because, mainstream TV just isn't for us. Network TV doesn't have the kind of programming we like, doesn't have much that we like at all, actually. But what we find is when we watch YouTube, we find these channels where people are doing something very unique. Or maybe they're just living their lives, but it's much more interesting than some of the fake lives that are put on real TV. So we become fans of YouTube channel. And so now we sit here and we're doing something that's unique. We're building our own home on our property. We're not young. In less than 2 years, I will be retired, and Sherry will be joining me 5 years from now as well. But, we wanted to basically come here and build our dream for the rest of our lives, our dream with each other, and our dream to be connected with nature. And so in doing so, we realized that we have this opportunity to create a lot of content while we're doing it. And I bought a camera. I'm making these videos. This may or may not make it to YouTube. I'm not sure. It might make it to YouTube and nobody watches it. That's okay, because I just want to do it. I want to tape this. I want to record it. It's also something that will be helpful to us as we go through the process, having the photographs and understanding what we did. But we're doing something that's very unique. We are building a home as our own general contractor. There is not a builder that sits between us and this construction. There are many contractors that are doing many different things, but basically we are the general contractors. And so I've looked on YouTube and I've searched for a similar channel and I haven't found one yet. I've found some channels that talk about what to do to build your own home, but not necessarily a complete build on their own. And I'm sure there's some out there. Maybe I don't know how to search correctly, but we're hopefully going to make something very unique. We're going to record this. Maybe it's something that somebody can use at some point in their lives to be able to do something very unique, to be able to take the information that we're learning from and do something with that. Maybe not. It's okay though, but whatever it becomes, it becomes. And I think it's just going to be very satisfying for us to record this process. I'm blessed to be standing here. All the glory goes to God, and I'm just very happy to be here and be able to do this at this point in my life, and I'm thankful. So if you're with me and this made it to YouTube, I'm glad you joined us. I'm glad that you're here. There's going to be more videos to come, and I wish you all well. Thank you.